Mental health is an ever more growing conversation these days, and its influence in gaming is no exception to that. Let's dive into the world of gaming and talk about the experiences and moments we live through it. Please welcome our guests today as we talk through mental health in gaming, Vanessa and Ruth. First off, we're going to be discussing mental health in gaming, and with me today to discuss this is Vanessa Barnes and Ruth Venture. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Let's start with Vanessa.
My Vanessa, better known as V Psych. I am an educational psychologist and I raise mental health awareness through gaming.
Okay, Ruth.
Hi, I'm Rue, aka Ruthie on Fire. I am the co-owner and managing director of Nibble Africa. I'm a gamer, I'm autistic, and I'm also a copywriter.
Okay, so I know you both personally, and we've obviously had discussions around mental health in gaming. It's definitely something that's become more prevalent, more spoken about. Do you think there is a stigma around good mental health in gaming? Do you think it's something that hasn't been spoken about for a specific reason? And why do you think it's come to the forefront now? Anyone can start.
We've actually come... Okay. I think we've actually come a long way in a short period of time in terms of raising awareness around mental health. So I think a lot more people in the gaming community are aware of it. They're aware of the importance of promoting healthy mental health. So yeah, I think we've made a lot of progress.
Yeah, I think, for a long time that if you ever mentioned anything about like how you're feeling or, not being happy with the status quo, bullying was rife. It still is rife, but I do think, like V said, we've made a lot of progress. People are taking it more seriously. And I think because of the intersection of gaming and, just people with mental health issues, it is a source of comfort and escape. A lot of gamers do struggle with mental health issues and we don't talk about it. And the fact that we are now means that people have even more of a safe haven in the gaming space, I hope.
That's the hope. Rue, speaking of which, you're someone who speaks openly about your experience with autism or neurodivergence. I want to find out from you, what is neurodivergence and how does that sort of affect you in the gaming space? Also, I wanted to know from you how difficult it was to speak about something like this. What were your sort of fears around it?
Well, being a late diagnosed autistic and then 2 years later ADHD as well, the biggest struggle for me was, am I really? And I've heard this from a lot of other late diagnosed autistic people as well. Like, oh, but I made it through school. Oh, but I did this. Or I did that. I can't really be autistic. The truth is, those symptoms manifest in such a way that you don't really know it until you're completely burnt out and there's nothing left. And then you end up getting that diagnosis later on down the line. And my biggest fear was that people would be combative around that, that they wouldn't believe me, that they wouldn't take my struggles seriously, or not that they would make fun of me. I've been made fun of my whole life. That has not changed. That was a big fear for me. And I do still get it. People will be like, oh, you don't get to talk about this. Where's your diagnosis? We want to see your medical records. And I'm like, no, you don't get to ask those kind of personal things from me. It's not for you. But I've come to terms with it and I do manage it a little better now. But essentially, neurodivergence, to answer your first question, it's a term that was coined in the late 90s and it covers a broad spectrum of things. So it's essentially it's a form of human biodiversity. You have the typical brain and then you have the divergent brain, which is different from the typical. And that covers things like dyslexia, ADHD, there's some debate, but things like bipolar and such are also included under the umbrella, depending on who you talk to. These are all forms of neurodivergence.
So, V, you're someone who operates in the gaming space. You're also a streamer and a cozy gamer. I love that. So you have a really good understanding of the gaming content creation, streamer, maybe esports space. What have you noticed about the space? You're someone who people look up to for mental health advice. You stream and give advice. What have you noticed about the space? What is something that you've noticed is prevalent in the space, and how can we kind of combat that?
So I think touching back on what Ruthie actually said earlier, gaming does foster a sense of community where people kind of create safe spaces to come in and chat about mental health and that kind of thing. We've come a long way in terms of raising that awareness, but where I'm seeing we're lacking or where people are struggling is around information and psychoeducation on mental health illnesses and disorders. So a lot of people really keen to come in and learn more about things like anxiety or trauma or depression or whatever the case might be. So I think a lot of that is lacking in many ways, that people don't feel they have access to that, or maybe they can research it, but they need to come in and be able to ask questions of somebody who is a professional in that field.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about gaming addiction and how to better handle your mental health as a gamer or someone in esports.
Demi.
Wait, how does he know? He's cheating.
It's all in the strats, brother. I heard the pillow slap your leg again.
It's coming. I'm on it. It's definitely from that direction. I have to go back down there.
We'll put someone else.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Dude, that was f***ing abysmal. Dude, Johnny, you know you can turn around, eh?
I know, dude. I'm gonna send that out. You guys tried to do some stretch here. Mark. Dude, oh no, it's game over. Did I introduce something new here?
Johnny, you can find the reflection they're using. Did I turn around too quick? Try to...
Was that on purpose?
Yes. No shit. Did I really?
Sorry, Jimmy, you got me baited. It wasn't key.
Motherfucker. Got me. Okay, it's between these two motherfuckers. Ken.
Yep.
No shots.
Welcome back. We are here with Vanessa Barnes and Ruth Venture. We're chatting about mental health in gaming. And I want to ask a little bit about gaming addiction. This is definitely something that's been discussed. And I wonder how that factors into the gaming and esports space. So V, I want to ask you, how do we know when there's sort of a difference between excessive gaming or gaming to get good or become competitive, and when gaming is actually a problem, when it becomes an addiction for someone?
Gaming can be a healthy escape, but can encourage things like creativity. What you want to watch out for is when that gaming gets to a point where it impacts your daily routine. So it's impacting how much sleep you're getting, whether you're getting out and exercising or not, whether you're eating healthily, if it's affecting your daily occupational functioning, so you're not performing as well as you should at work or at school in the case of children. When it's impacting on your social relationships, so you're spending too much time basically in isolation. As human beings, we're wired to socially connect with other people. So when we start to see personal hygiene, personal care, those kind of things start to slip, then we know we're heading towards a problem in terms of addiction.
And how would you advise someone combats this sort of addiction? So if it's been noticed by, let's say, friends, parents, teachers, colleagues, whoever it is, how do you deal with someone who's struggling with a gaming addiction?
So, gaming addiction is not really any different to any other type of addiction, really. What it usually entails is escapism, so escaping from reality. So whatever the person might be experiencing, going through, whatever might be happening in terms of their mental health, they may be avoiding that and moving into that addiction space. My advice would definitely be, if you start to notice that, or if others start to notice it, get out there, speak to people, maybe see a professional as well, and get some help.
Okay. Rue, we spoke a little bit before the break about autism, neurodivergence. What sort of advice can you give gamers who are dealing with these kinds of things?
Well, first, when it comes to advice with the neurodivergent space, what works for one is not going to work for the other. So don't take that as a comment on your validity as a neurodivergent person. Just figure out what works for you. I would say to avoid meltdowns and frustrations and things like that, my biggest coping mechanism has been to find games that don't stress me out.
Mm-hmm.
with one exception. One exception is 7 Days to Die. I hate horror games. I don't know why I play this stupid thing. It gives me so much anxiety, but I literally love it so much. But do it in short bursts. If it becomes a lot, it's okay to get up and take a break. It's okay to play games on easy. I cannot stress this enough. You're not impressing anyone by playing everything on hard mode. Gaming is about having fun. And if you're not having fun, then it's like you're missing the point. Play it on easy. Play it on story mode. Immerse yourself in the world. Ignore the main quest. Follow the butterfly. Just have fun. And then when it comes to social games, if you are socially anxious, there are really great games out there that don't require you to do a lot of voice chat or things like that. Palia, for example, is a brand new cozy game, MMO, which I feel is pretty new in this space. You can party up with a bunch of people, have a community, never say a word. There is no voice chat. You type in the box and everybody is so kind and friendly. There are people out there. You don't have to feel isolated as a neurodivergent.
Amazing. So lastly, I want to ask for both of you, we'll start with V. What does a healthy gamer esports professional lifestyle look like? How many hours should we be spending gaming? When I look up stock images of gamers, it's always gamers with pizza and junk food, and it's so frustrating for me because I'm no, some of us are healthy, we try to be healthy. Junk food's okay sometimes, of course, but what does a healthy gamer lifestyle look like? What should we be eating? How many hours should we be gaming per day? What can we do to sort of balance out the sedentary time? How does that look?
I think, like you're saying, there's a bit of an unfortunate association. I don't think all gamers, I know all gamers don't actually fit into that sort of profile. How long you spend gaming, especially in the sort of esports competitive side, would definitely depend on how much time you need to spend training and doing those kind of things. But what we do need is we need balance, everything in balance. So we need to make sure we're in a healthy routine, we're getting enough sleep, we're eating healthily, we're hydrating ourselves, we're getting outside, we're touching grass, we're doing those kind of things. What we also do know is that you should turn off that screen at least an hour before bedtime. Because that screen, any screen really does activate the same part of our brain that is used for concentration and learning. So we need to shut that off an hour before bedtime, have good sleep hygiene, and get that balance, get enough sleep, make sure you get out, you spend time with friends or family, and you socialize a bit as well. We've also seen that certainly since the pandemic, sitting in front of a screen all the time has had an impact on people's bodies as well. So a lot of lift necks, shoulders, that kind of thing. So just to making sure, even if you are playing for a long period of time, that you do get up and have a bit of a stretch, sit down again, that kind of thing.
Okay, and quickly, Rue?
Biggest tip for me is keep an eye on your water intake. I am never hydrated enough. A good hack is if you struggle to drink water and it tastes very flat and boring. I know sparkling water is controversial, y'all, but bubbles are amazing. And then there's also a bunch of things out there that you can add, little drops of natural flavoring to make the water taste better. There's a lot of ways that you can up your water intake and just stay hydrated.
Good advice. Thank you, Ruth and Vanessa. Thank you so much for joining us. Lovely to chat to you as always. Thank you. Some valuable insights we've learned today. Thank you again to our guests Vanessa and Ruth for their time. Don't miss the next episode of The Roundtable.